Well, hello there. And this is Auntie and Bishop. And we are here to do our review on Ready to Love, Season 4, Episode 12. I Choose You, the finale. Bishop, are you ready?
Let's see who chose whom and who chose and who didn't get chosen and all of that stuff, Auntie. Yes.
All right, we'll be right back.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie. Everybody needs
with a whoop whoop and a boop boop.
auntie that
You can make this up.
Now you know that these are some crazy motherfuckers.
everybody needs a sweet old auntie.
So why even bother?
Aunties and lives, sweet old auntie. Aunties that play. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Well, welcome back, everybody. And this is Auntie. If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And to all of my new subscribers, and there's been so many of you, thank you so much for choosing to join up with this family. To all of my nieces and nephews and my members who have been with me for the long haul, thank you all so much for your continued support. Bishop, why don't you tell them where they can find you on YouTube?
They can find me, Auntie, right here on YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday on Let's Talk to Cutler.
Okay, Bishop, I am so nervous. I don't know why. I just feel like I'm so nervous to discuss this. We missed you last week. We're so glad to have you back. You look as handsome as ever. Okay. And so we're going to get started. Bishop, I'm going to let you lead, of course, because I love when you lead. And I want to know, my first question is, what would you have rated this episode?
I'm going to give this episode a B.
Okay.
A B. A B.
Okay, why B, Bishop?
Well, I like the outcome. And you know, I'm a family person. So when you bring family to the table, family who can be honest, who can be authentic, and they give you an extended look at the person that you're interacting with. So I was, in family heaven. I grew up in the South. So when you bring the family out, I'm in family heaven. Had a good time watching them. Felt like I was getting to know them.
Okay.
What about you?
I gave this episode actually an A.
Okay.
I like the way they cleaned it up. I may not have liked some of the stuff that happened, but I did like the way that they ended it. So yeah, let's go.
Well, I need to make sure that you're all buckled in, your seatbelt is on, and all that stuff.
I'm in.
And let me say, you are looking pretty in pink. You look real pretty today.
Thank you. Just a little something, just a little sundress. But thank you, Bishop.
But Auntie, before we begin, I missed you last week, and I missed all of your nieces and nephews. And I have to say this: I got to pause for 5 seconds because I wasn't with you, and I have to bid a proper farewell to your friend. Your friend Alexis.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
You should have got an actual trash can for Alexis, not a recycle bin, but a trash can.
Do you have on those earrings today?
No, might be the let me think. Might be the lashes.
Auntie, I don't throw them away. I put it in the recycle bin because after last week, You all, I'm doing a drop Alexis in the recycle bin. She wasn't ready to love on this episode, but bless her heart. She said, well, she needs to go and learn how to love herself a little bit more. And
But Bishop, what did you think about that final farewell speech using the King James Version?
Auntie, I'm a softie when it comes to certain things. And I watched her. I watched Alexis, and she sat there and she said, no hard feelings, no bad feelings. She said, but she did say she felt like she got backstabbed.
Yeah,
So
and I don't understand. It's a dating show.
Yeah. So I was thinking, Alexis, on one hand, you felt like you got backstabbed, and on the other hand, say that again, Auntie.
She's always the victim.
But I felt kind of bad for her.
Well,
I really
she didn't get backstabbed. I mean, he had a choice. She had already indicated that, she had to prepare herself on, if he was going to choose her or not choose her. And then all of a sudden, you got the Judas comment, you got the backstabbing comment. Like, come on, you just a perpetual victim, in my humble opinion.
Now, I was not disappointed with the outcome at all. But, I just got a kind of soft heart right here for ladies with these pretty eyes. And she just put the look on. Maybe I'm just not ready to receive what I requested and all of that. And I need to learn to love myself and see myself. Yeah. So I thought, let's just go quietly off in the night. Alexis.
But Bishop, doesn't that mean that she wasn't ready to love?
It means that she was not ready to love that cast of guys.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all its righteousness and all of those other things will be added unto me. Seemed like, when she used that scripture, she was, to me, in my opinion, saying that she wasn't seeking the Lord first, that she wasn't ready for love because God hadn't given it to her, and that she needed to continue to work on herself. So that means that she wasn't ready to love. You can't use the scripture and then manipulate the scripture to make it, excuse me, Bishop.
Okay.
I need to put both feet on the ground when I talk.
Right. All right.
People. But you can't use the scripture, manipulate it so that it works for you. Either the scripture is real and alive or it's not. And so for her to use that scripture saying that she had to seek ye first, and that, because these windows of heaven were opened up to her, meant that she wasn't ready to love, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think, sometimes people they use scriptures, poem, or whatever it may be
As
to soften themselves at the moment, and it's just for them. And the application of it really has nothing to do with your current situation. I don't think that necessarily had anything to do with her current situation. I think she was just quoting stuff. One, because she'd been up there billed as a pastor's ex-wife, and just to play the theme out. I think maybe that was why she used the scripture. That's why she invoked God. So I think she just did it to just be true to her character at the time. I don't think any of that mattered. The only thing that really got me was she's like, no hard feelings. Let me just go ahead and hug you and get back to my child. I said, well, yeah, get on back to your child. Get on back to your child. So we can move on.
You never left them. You should have never left them. If this journey, sometimes you got to take the whole journey, Bishop.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not, you have speed bumps, whether or not you have potholes, whether or not you have a smooth ride. Sometimes you drive through storms. You got to be ready for the whole journey. And for her, I thought that was a cop out to say, let me get back to my son. If you weren't going to appreciate the journey, you shouldn't have never left him.
And what I think a lesson we can get from that piece, Auntie, because I like how you, from time to time, you drop nuggets and lessons for your nieces and nephews. When she said that this has shown me that I need to love myself, don't wait until you get to the end of a process. Don't wait until you look like the loser before you get the lesson. If life is gracious and kind, try to learn the lesson the first go round. And when it comes to doing self-analysis and self-evaluations and being introspective, looking at yourself, don't let other people force you to do that. Do that yourself. From time to time, just stop, look in the mirror and say, let me evaluate who and what I see here.
Yes.
as I listened to her comment, I just sort of wished maybe you should have done that all along. And as you said, maybe you would have found yourself not even on the show at the time had you taken an introspective look at who you are, doing some self-assessment and self-evaluation, and said, okay, I think I'm ready to love, but if I realize I've not loved myself, let me not even offer myself to anybody else at this time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, but let's talk about who remained. You ready?
I'm ready.
So now on this episode,
let me make sure my seatbelt is tight.
Yeah.
Okay, it's tight.
Let me turn the air conditioning on.
Okay.
Because this was the episode when they had to meet the families. They had to meet each other's families, and they had to make a choice. And the choice had to be clear. Do we both choose each other? So it couldn't just be one-sided. And the first couple that we saw, we took off, it was Vernisha's family. We saw, keep that smile on your face. We saw her stepdad, her dad, and her mother and her daughter. So we got a chance to see them. Joelle gets to meet them. And what did you get from that encounter? How did you feel about that encounter? I walked away feeling, I had my own feelings, but I was thinking, watching this, saying, I wonder what Auntie is thinking. What is she processing in this meeting?
I just thought that I didn't think that anything really came out of it. I thought that the family was already familiar with him, and in particular the daughter. I thought that, they kind of let him off the hook. They just talked about, having the blended family. But I thought that a lot of this was already, that it just seemed like to me with both meetings, with Vernice and Joelle, that this was just a process that they had to go through for production. Even with the way that the mother questioned him and asked him what was his intentions concerning Vernisha, I don't remember, maybe you do as a man, I don't remember him ever answering that question. I think that there's a key word that he continues to use, if I had to make a decision. And so I think that he's making a decision for the sake of production, but not for the sake of his heart. I don't think that he is really ready for this connection with Vernisha. And I thought the family kind of let him off easily. I like the fact that she indicated that she, wanted her daughters to see her happy and all this kind of stuff. I just thought that it just seemed contrived. But anyway, what did you think, Bishop? Because stop.
As soon as I saw it, they did seem familiar. It felt like they were familiar with each other, her family and him. Just sort of felt familiar. I have to say though, I love the fact that she included one of her children. I love the fact that one of the children was included in the roundup. And the only thing that honestly I remember the guy, the stepdad, the dad grabbing his hand and said, yeah, I'm feeling this dude too. And at the end, he said, okay, son-in-law. Now, you just don't call somebody son-in-law the very first time you meet him. So, Auntie, you and I are eye to eye. At that point, when he said son-in-law, I said, he's met him before. He's met him before. You're not going to convince me that you haven't seen him before. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Including the daughter.
Yeah.
Because, I have a daughter. And if my daughter hears, let's say, Bishop, and you and I are dating, she's never met you because I've been, dating in the closet or dating on a show. There's no way in the world that you're going to have my daughter sit there and not have 1,001 questions. And her guard is going to be up. The daughter's guard was down.
Yeah.
Being a parent, your kids. The daughter guard was down the whole time. Even when the mother said, her eyes light up when she looks at you.
You're right.
It was just it was just a task. I thought. But I did like the fact that the daughter was open to him and happy to see her mother happy about love.
Yeah, you don't sound energetic about it, but I'm with you because the daughter was like, "Oh, this is the first time I've seen her like this, talk so much." But it was so they were low energy.
Very low
They were low energy, and I thought, you know what? You all are low energy. I'm low energy too.
Basically, I mean, it was so contrived, and you could tell that there's been a lot going on, and I'm going to go deeper into that when we get to that particular scene.
Gotcha. Okay, all right. Well, but then on to it was Liz's family next. Clean your face up, Auntie. Clean your face up before we can get started. Liz family with her two sisters and a brother-in-law. And Jason walked in, and of course, when Jason walked in, he sat down. They had food on the table. Jason sat down and said, "Hey, have y'all prayed over this yet?" Said grace. They were won. He won them over with that. I don't think much even had to be said after that. The sister said, "Well, Liz, what are you nervous?" And she said, "Well, you're making me nervous." So they weren't even nervous about the families meeting Jason. But, I was impressed. I was impressed by that. I thought that Jason has some tricks up his sleeve.
Mm-hmm. 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 And I could see him. My family would have called bullshit on it. Excuse my language. They would have read that mofo fulfilled, especially when asked. See, when they asked him about his favorite scripture, I thought he was going to say John 3:16. Like I seriously did, but he did use another cliche scripture, which was Psalms 27. But he used Matthew 13.
And I paid attention. I wanted to call you because they said, "What's your favorite verse?" You gave a whole chapter. You gave a whole chapter.
Right, not like Jeremiah 29:11. Mark. Mark 3:16.
Get a verse. They said, "What's your favorite verse?" Not your favorite chapter, Jason. And so then all of a sudden, they were thinking. The sister said, "Oh, you for real, for real?" Yeah, he might be for real, but did you notice he didn't answer your question? You asked him what's your favorite verse. He just gave you a book and a chapter.
But here's the thing: before he even sat down with the family, when they was narrating it, he said, "I'm going to go and meet Liz's family. There's not too many things about me that I hide." Bishop, I heard that. I rewinded that over and over. I meditated on that. He said, "There's not too many things about myself that I hide, or i.e., I'm not truthful about." I think Jason is a fraud. And I think that because Liz is so wanting to win in her heart, right?
Yes.
And I know I was hard on her, and I've been hard on her. But I actually think that I've become protective of her, and that's why I'm hard on her. Because she doesn't see this man for the liar that I believe, in my opinion, that he is. This mofo, I've never seen him pray when they met with each other. All I've seen him do is lust after her body. Now, all of a sudden, you with the family, you know that the family is religious. So now all of a sudden, you're going to say grace. Bitch, shut up.
Wait a minute.
And I'm telling you, my family would have been able to read past him. They would have been able to read past the prayer. Then the prayer wasn't eloquent. Now, you don't have to have an eloquent prayer over food. But mofo, you didn't use one scripture. So you're the scripture man. The family was, the brother-in-law was relating to him, as far as, basketball, oh, that was 3 points. That was a 3-point shot with us.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason knows that. He's aware of that. But I have not seen Jason be this religious man. Now, I know that there is production, but I haven't seen this religious man. Have you, Bishop? When did he show up? At the table?
He showed up at the table.
At the table.
Yeah. So that's why I said Jason seems to have some tricks up his sleeve. There was something that was, I like your word, contrived, not organic, not authentic about that moment. To me, it just felt like it was. It felt like it was more strategic than authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And someone dating my nieces, I'd rather them meet someone who's authentic and not just strategic. Because strategic tells me you have a hidden agenda, you have ulterior motives, you're after something else other than her heart. And if you're after anything other than my niece's heart or my goddaughter's heart, then we're going to have a problem.
But Bishop, wouldn't you have felt that? Wouldn't you have known that? Wouldn't your discerner? It's like nobody used their discernment.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when you're in the middle of something and you're targeted at what you want, you have blinders on. And I don't know if Liz just has blinders on because she's so targeted and wants to feel like she's ready to love what she very well may be. She just may have those blinders on, and somebody needs to say, hey, take the blinders off and look at the whole scene. And I thought her family would have done that for her. Mm-hmm. They didn't quite do it. Or if they did, we certainly didn't see it.
We didn't see it.
Yeah.
I think he's full of it because I think he's disingenuous. Again, as I said, he said, they're not, I'm the way that they looked at me, the way that they looked at him wasn't critical. They didn't grit on him. They didn't, they were very welcoming when he walked into the restaurant. Moreover, for a mofo to say, there's not too many things about myself that I hide. If you're meeting the family and you're giving this relationship 100%, right? To not to be married or walk down the aisle, but just giving it your 100%. You should be completely open, and not have anything to hide,
Jason. Yeah,
including your feelings for Kyra.
And no, okay, all right. But can I just say this also? And if you think that family is so religious, the first thing, it may be a little offensive for you to sit to the table with them and ask them, have they prayed? I know for my family, one of the first things that we're going to do when we sit down is pray. So we don't need anybody to walk in and say, have you prayed? What do you mean, have we prayed? That's how we roll. That's what we do. You don't have to sit down and offend me by asking me, have we prayed? Mm-hmm. So, none of that came out. But hey, again, that's just my experience. That's just my experience, but that still didn't stop me from giving the show a B because it revealed something that I hadn't quite seen.
It didn't stop me from giving it an A because I mean, yeah.
What about let's go to Chris's family. I made with those brothers. I probably would have given the show an A by itself because I like the payback. Let me just talk about. I didn't write down too many names, but I think because they all started with K, I had to write down the Sean, Keenan, and somebody. Mm-hmm. But his brothers were there to grill and drill Amber. Mm-hmm. And these brothers came out of the gate. They were not playing. It was like, we're not not going to be soft and gentle with you. We have some serious questions. The first question was, listen, you're pretty, you're cute and all this stuff, Amber, but why hasn't anybody picked you up yet? What's going on?
But she gave the lawyer answer.
She said, the question is, why haven't I allowed anyone to pick me up?
Could be because she a hoe.
In your humble opinion.
In my humble opinion.
But I love their questions because those brothers weren't playing.
But she gave the lawyer answer, though.
She did.
She stays in the courtroom. She's a district attorney. And so she knows how to answer a question with a question. So she never answered their question.
She did.
Never did.
No, she did.
She didn't answer any of their questions.
None. Not even the question that she asked several episodes ago. I love that. So the brother said, okay, or do you just have character flaws that you need to tell our brother about? Because remember, she was just grilling those guys before, asking them about character flaws. Auntie, I was jumping up and down when they asked her that same question. Couldn't wait.
But she didn't. And I believe, and she does, in my opinion, Bishop, have character flaws.
Yes, she does.
A lot of them. But, she's interested in, and I'm not saying that she's not genuinely interested in KG, But she's absolutely interested in some other ones too.
Well, if I can steal your phrase, she is not interested in him, in my humble opinion.
You don't think so, Bishop?
No, no,
Why, Bishop?
no,
I can't wait to hear this. Why, Bishop?
no, 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 ma'am. I think, and you said it. I'm going to take it one step further. So I'm taking your foundation. You said she was in the courtroom and she stayed in the courtroom the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes across to me as one who doesn't want to lose. She doesn't want to lose the case. She doesn't want to lose the game. She doesn't want to lose a client. She doesn't want to look. And that's what it seems like to me. It seems like she's stuck on playing the game and doesn't want to lose.
So do you believe so? Because they mentioned that, someone else last season said the same thing. And, he ended up walking away with his heart broken. And so we're looking at you and saying, just how do we know that you're telling the truth? Don't believe me, just watch. I mean, I see. What?
Wait a minute. You let it caught me off guard. Do it again, Auntie.
Don't believe me, just watch.
Oh my God.
She went into cliches. She went into song titles. She went into all of, well, you know what, don't believe what I say, believe what you see. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Every cliche she could use, she used it. Instead of just answering the question. Answer the damn question. How do we know? We will find out when we're sitting at the reunion or when she's confronted by other people, when all of the witnesses finally take the stand, then we'll find out, because she's the type of person you're going to have to do cross-examination.
Yeah.
No, seriously, because she is in the courtroom, Bishop. The courtroom.
And I wanted to say, Your Honor, can you please instruct counselor to answer the question? Her answer is I move to strike her answer for being non-responsive. May I offer this motion to the court? May it please the court, Your Honor, to strike her answer for being non-responsive. That's what I want to do. Because you are right. You're right, Auntie. Her brother said, "Well, listen, is this real? We watched this happen to our brother before, and so we've heard and seen the same thing. Are you genuine? Is this legitimate?" She said, "My actions. Just watch my actions. My actions speak louder than words. I could put my money."
Your Honor, can we please approach the bench?
I need to get my gavel. I should have shown up with my gavel.
Should have, Bishop. Hold on, it's a spot on my wall. Hold on. Got it.
But
Got it. Bishop. I'm trying to tell you.
But can we talk about something that probably somebody should have picked up on? Has KG become a wimp?
Yes.
I shouldn't say that, but I just did.
Yeah.
Don't strike my answer.
Okay,
has he become a wimp? Because he's moved to the point of saying, thank you for being here, and I got you, and he just seems to have sunken behind this character or something, and as if she can do no wrong, and she's the one sort of pursuing him, coming after him, and so if he's sort of taking this docile role. Yeah. What are you doing, KG? What's your name? Chris, what are you doing?
Go ahead, Bishop. The library is open. You better read.
I just wanted to point that out, Auntie, because it seems something like even their personalities and their characters, every time they've come together lately, she seems to have the dominant character. And he seems to be so subservient, referring to her as goddess and queen and all of this stuff.
I worship you. I bow to you. Let me, crown you. And I was like, you are so weak.
Yeah. I don't know what your nieces and nephews think, but I'm telling you, it's something about the way he has shown up
in the
has
room. Is very feminine.
it's subservient, submissive, just docile, passive. All of the I just keep going on.
Yes, Bishop, you didn't open up the library on their asses today.
Yeah,
I've,
yeah.
I've I've seen it, and I think everybody else has too. And I think that may be one of the things his brothers picked up, because even when he had the conversation right with his brothers, he let her lead. And yes, they are asking the questions, but he like, yeah, I'm just gonna get behind you and support whatever you say, in front of my brothers. And I'm just like, this is the time for you to have your ears and your heart open to hear what she's saying. She never answered a question.
Right.
Never.
Yeah. So I was appreciative that he had his brothers there to ask the hard questions and to take the high road, because he was expecting them to be silly. And I guess they were thinking, this ain't the time to be silly. We just need to ask serious questions. He said, oh, they were serious and they weren't as silly as I thought. Would you be thankful for your brothers, because they were the ones who stood up as strong characters, because you certainly didn't. That's all I got to say. That's all I have to say. Something. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm done. I'm done with him, Auntie. Now that I've gotten it out.
I'm telling you, you was ready because you ain't drunk a sip of tea yet.
Oh, okay.
You've been ready for this bitch. Ready.
I missed you. I missed you last week.
You better work it.
I missed you last week.
I missed you too.
Oh my Lord. Well then, on to Kyra and her mom and Corey. Yeah, her mom, and then her friend. She said who was like a sister to her. And it's time to meet AJ.
2 other attorneys.
Yes, ma'am. And it was time to meet AJ. And those two, her mother and her friend, they just their presence. First of all, I love the strength of their presence.
Yes, the mother was beautiful, wasn't she?
Absolutely.
I mean,
stunning.
she had that wig on. I said, Mom, you better go ahead on and work with your little wig on and your Pond's cream. Got your face looking all smooth like that. Go ahead, Moms.
Good looking woman. Good looking,
yes.
Yeah, and she was not playing. She was not playing at all. Not that mother or the friend, because the friend just came out the gate. She said, listen, I don't have time to play and cut the food with y'all and do all this kind of stuff. If I could coin a phrase like we said in South, I ain't here to play and cut the food. Let me just ask you, what do you think Kyra wants? How well do you think you know her, AJ? What do you think she wants?
But he didn't answer the question. He said, we got stuff in common. What? No, I said, what does she want? I didn't ask, what do you have in common? First of all, the girlfriend wasn't playing because she was already doing power position. She said, where can we even sit him so that we can make sure we intimidate him and let him know we're not playing? She had already came into, and Bishop, you and I both know about the power of position.
Yes.
When you sit in a room, okay.
Right.
When you sit in a room makes a big difference in the power structure. Right.
Yes.
Okay. So the girlfriend was already not playing. And I liked the fact that she told him, I don't think your representative has been introduced to the real you, but the two of these bitches need to merge together so we can find out who you really are. Another thing, too, is that Jason doesn't like to be asked questions because Jason indicated that this wasn't an interrogation session. But
AJ.
No, Jason said the same thing.
Okay. Yes, he did.
Yes, he did, because Jason and AJ both know that they got a whole bunch of skeletons, in my opinion. When Kyra was talking to Jason last week, when you won't hear, so let's tap on some of that too. When Kyra was talking to Jason, just trying to get our heads and tails, some information from him, some contradictions, if you will.
Yes.
He said, well, I always be feeling like I'm interrogated. So when he sat down with Liz's family, and they took it easy on him because he opened up with the Lord's Prayer, okay. He sat there and said, it wasn't an interrogation session. It needs to be, because you're a liar. Same thing with AJ. This family, this is the opportunity to interrogate, even though he couldn't pronounce it correctly.
Thank you. You know I wrote that down. He said, I feel like I've been interrogated. I said, wait a minute now. Auntie, can I just say something right there? I think, and you know me, I think I have a pretty decent vocabulary. I think my vernacular is pretty kind of sort of okay. But when the brother said, I feel like I have been interrogated, I said, interrogate. Hold on, let me spell that. Let me write that word down. INTEGREGIT, interrogated? Maybe he means interrogated. Interrogated. But you know, he was the same one who made up a word a couple weeks ago. Instead of using the word assurance, he said assurement. I need some assurement to make sure. Auntie, you know, you remember. Don't leave me hanging out here by myself. You know, you heard the man talking about he needed some assurement. And so now, so you went from assurement to integrate. What in the world did he say? Interrogated. Oh, AJ, before you embarrass yourself on TV, stop using just just say I felt like they asked me a lot of questions.
I can't breathe. My stomach is hurting.
No, I had to stop and figure out what word was he trying to use. And then I said, oh, he meant interrogated. AJ, brother, stop it. You have done this twice. When you go back and watch this show, AJ, you're not going to like yourself. Interrogated. Well, so anyway, yeah, I feel like I've been interrogated. But then they got him, Auntie, you know, his family gonna be embarrassed when they watch this. You know they were embarrassed.
Hold on, I gotta get some tissue. Hold on, Bishop.
I'm a hold on, y'all. While Auntie is going to get tissue, you all know, and production was wrong. You all know, when Auntie comes back, I'm gonna remind y'all know production was wrong. They could have cut that out since they're doing all this production, but they just left him out there on his own. They could have done some editing. They could have skipped that out. Something they could have edited that out. They let the man just use wrong words. So yeah, think about it. Oh Lord. Auntie is somewhere getting tissue and laughing. It's pitiful. That was sad. Auntie, I was saying that, you know, production could have edited that out, but they left it. They made, let's see, I would say they made a spectacle of him, but he probably would say they made a skeptical of him. I'm wrong, and I know I'm wrong for that. I'm wrong. I'm wrong for it. I know I am. Good Lord. Auntie, you know, I said, AJ, you're in trouble. You are in trouble. But I'm not going to go off on him anymore. But that sister did it, didn't she? Yeah. I think your representatives.
I'm trying to get myself together, Bishop.
Oh, Lord. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But, you know, I kind of wordsmith stuff. And when he did that, I said, you're wrong for using the word. Production was wrong for airing it.
Okay.
I know. Well, yeah.
So what happened now? So
well, you know what happened. You know what happened. That sister, the sister friend, the sister girl. She said, She said, I don't even feel like this is fire. I feel like this is low heat. She wasn't playing with them. I like her. I think her name was Corey or something. I like Corey because Corey was keeping it real.
Yes, she was.
And you know what, Auntie? And so now I need your perspective.
Oh,
I
well,
think,
you have to go.
okay, Auntie is just acting up today, you all. You see her? But I wonder what your nieces and nephews think, because I think that if Corey is such a good friend to Kyra, Kyra probably has already told her that she likes Jason anyway.
Yeah.
And so now she's just like, okay, so but you told me you like Jason. So now I'm watching this guy who seems to be your guy by default.
Yeah.
That's why she said, there's no fire, it's just low heat. I'm done. Let me take a drink of tea because I probably done talked too much already about poor
Okay,
AJ.
so you said you need to get my opinion on something. Go ahead, Bishop.
I wanted to know what you thought about why production let that man use the wrong words and didn't edit it out. I'm gonna stop. I'm going to stop.
I think that they have painted him the whole episode poorly. They painted him as being broke. They painted him as not having a real career, both him and KG. And now they've painted him as being illiterate, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think that production liked him. I think that he hung on. Maybe they didn't want him to hang on, but I don't think that they've ever shown him in a good light. That's just my opinion about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Bishop, God, you had me crying.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. But I had to get that out. You know I wasn't going to rest until I could get that out.
They have definitely not, he has not had a favorable edit. And I don't think he even is aware that he has not had a favorite edit. I don't think he even has the ability to grasp how he's coming off.
Mm-hmm.
And the girlfriend like solidified it. She read him in a very, very professional way. But she read him and was like, you're fake. One of the things that Kyra said was, I don't know what kind of charm he has on women, where women first are angry with him and then they like him. And I think she was talking about her mother. And she said, Mom, I need you to be strong. You could tell that the mom was physically attracted to him when he came in there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's sad that that's all he has. That's all he has to bring to the table.
Yeah, yeah. And I told you, I don't even see that, but I guess I don't have those eyes. I'm just thinking, you just, I'm not going to talk about it.
Bishop, I'm telling you, in the history of Auntie's advice, I've never had to get up and just walk away like that and just be crying laughing.
I'm sorry.
No. Maybe I've done it once, but Bishop, I ain't did it in a long time. Usually I can kind of get myself together. I had to walk over to the other side of the office, get me some paper towels. I'm trying to tell you, Bishop, that was hilarious. And he's so honest and genuine about the mistake and the mispronunciation of words.
He
really is committed to that. Usually if you mispronounce something, like there's times when I'm on here and I'm ranting, like I got a lot going on. I'll recognize that I mispronunciated something, and I'll be like, you know what, okay, whatever, y'all know what I meant, or whatever. It is so beyond correction. He really believes it, that he said those words. He's committed to saying those words incorrectly.
Yeah. Well,
Jesus.
On to on to Amber's family. Her oldest brother, her sister, and her friend.
Her good girlfriend.
Yes. The only question I remember is when they asked KG, they asked Chris, how many relationships have you been in? And he said 4. And
they said that's a lot. At that age, that's not a lot.
Yeah. I didn't think so either. I
Okay,
didn't think so.
okay. I thought it was
I didn't think so either. What did you think? Once again, though, I thought he showed up as a wimp. I thought he showed up as a wimp because they said their question was, they prefaced it by saying, she's our superstar.
Mm-hmm.
She's a superstar of the family. How are you going to take care of her? It's a good thing he looked and said, well, you know, she's the, you know, that voice, she's the queen goddess. You know, she's the queen goddess. I'm going to make sure that she doesn't work herself into a nervous breakdown.
But how? And then he had the nerve to say to the other men who feel a little competitive, because I think it's natural for there to be some constructive, and that isn't even the word that I want to use, but I'm sure you'll help me with it. Healthy
Yes.
competitiveness.
Yes.
In a relationship with two people who have great careers. I think you can have healthy competition.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
You motivate each other. Motivate each other to do better.
Yes, Bishop.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I understand why he would say, well, you know, they have low self-esteem. Sometimes that's not what it is. And the thing about it is, she has been very successful with dumbing you down.
She's done a good job of that.
She has dumbed him down.
Mm-hmm. And oh Lord, Auntie, don't get me for this, but it this may not be his approach, but it gives me the feeling. It just looks like when he says, "Oh God," when I think about some of his responses, it almost makes me think that he's okay with her being the breadwinner. And I'm not saying he shouldn't be okay with her being the breadwinner, but it almost looks like, well, listen, she's going to be the one making the money. She's the breadwinner. Okay, so listen, I'm going to let her be the strong one. I'm going to support her. I'm going to get behind her and do all this kind of stuff. Which, that something about that doesn't resonate well with me. That, you know, hey, you are still the one doing the chasing and going after her as the prize. Don't sit back and try to make yourself look like you're the prize and she's the strong, dominant attorney who's DA who's making a lot of money and you're okay with whatever she says. Work together in your relationship, but be strong on what you bring to the table.
What you bring to the table, your individuality. Like at the end of the day, who are you? And he's one of those type of people that would walk, what in my opinion, that will walk away from his marriage because he's lost himself in it. Wow. He's already lost himself in this relationship with her. We don't know what KG's identity is anymore because she's so dominant when she shows up in the room. And that is that her character flaw, or is that or is that his character flaw? Which then validates the question that the brothers asked. Excuse me. You're 31. You've never been married. Now, I've never been married, but that was always my choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what character flaw does she have? Does she have to be in a relationship where she can dumb a man down? Where she needs to have a submissive man, not a type A.
Right.
Like a type Z personality in order for her to feel like, you know.
What type? What type?
A type Z.
Not even anywhere near the A, all the way at the other end.
Because we see KG just disappearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
This man came in with bold suits on and orange and loud suits and all that kind of stuff. And now we see him, he basically coming in with an apron and a bonnet on his head. What kind of tea is that, Bishop? I mean, no, seriously, you can see him being Mr. Mom.
Yeah.
And ain't nothing wrong with it if that's what you want to do.
Right, right.
But you have to be authentic and true to yourself too. And I just don't see him showing up anymore, Bishop.
Yeah, he has. It's something about his character that has sunken to me, and I don't. That's just what I get. His character, his personality has just sort of sunken, and I don't know what that is, but that's. I'm glad I'm not alone in getting that.
Yes. And no, I'm sure that a lot of people probably see that. And the thing about it is, could you imagine him being your friend and you've always known him to be this DJ guy, and just the life of the party, and all of a sudden you just see him and he's, just in a sunken place and he's not himself anymore. And he's like, I couldn't imagine seeing any of my friends go through that.
Yeah, yeah. Neither could I.
In a relationship.
Yeah. Well, what about so now Joel with his sister and niece, BB and Butter. So BB and Butter are there. Vernisha goes to meet them for the first time, allegedly.
With her whole belly hanging out.
And a black strap around it.
And she was doing head and shoulders, knees and toes, bitch. I mean, ain't nothing about this girl that won't out from her head, her shoulders, down to her knees and her toes. Who goes to meet the family like that for the allegedly first time?
Yeah.
And then the sister said, do you like this girl that's coming over here?
Yeah.
They met her before, Bishop.
Yeah.
But Vernisha doesn't make a good impression to me.
Why so?
Because sometimes you have to turn that sexy off. Sometimes it's just not appropriate to be that way.
Okay.
Now, I love me a good clee. Now, I love me some cleavage. I love to show my cleavage. I love to show my big old, and I love to do that. But I also like to be like this.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think that it takes away from my femininity. And she never tones it down. Not even for the family, not even for the television.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. Because you know what I hadn't even thought about, Auntie? If she were meeting the family for the first time, she had no idea. She could have been meeting his twins for the first time. And dressed like that for a first time meeting, it makes you kind of think. Now, if you want to create this sort of not that she has to look matronly by any stretch of the imagination.
She doesn't. No, she doesn't.
Right. But for her to show up for the first time, not sure who she's going to meet, and it could have been the twins, you might want to look a little more appealing to them.
Yes.
Yeah, you might want to look a little more appealing to them. So I'm with you. I can't argue with you at all.
Because you don't get a second chance to make a first impression.
You don't.
And let's suppose that had been his children.
Uh-huh.
They'd be like, oh, okay, she got her stomach all out and her knees is all out, and she just, okay. That jacket that she had on from Zara's, that suede mustard jacket,
okay,
is actually in my video. I have that same jacket.
Did she borrow that jacket from you?
It's not in my closet anymore.
She stole it. We're just joking. Don't y'all go out there and say we
just joking. But I have that same jacket on when I'm sitting on the sofa, and I say, and I have a glass of wine in my hand, and I say, you can make this up. That's the jacket that I have on. Okay. So I'm, and I just was like, oh, okay. We might maybe around the same size or whatever, but that jacket, I would not have worn that jacket because it's cropped.
Okay.
I would never have worn that to meet somebody's family.
Yeah.
Never, because the cut of it and because it's cropped. So she just doesn't get to me give a good impression. Um, if she came to meet me and one of my brothers was dating her, I wouldn't have been impressed with her at all. But and then for her to say, oh, so I finally get to meet Butter. Joel said that I'm a lot like Butter, that I remind him of Butter. That's not flattering. I don't want to be reminded that I got the same personality as his niece.
Oh, well, I thought she said she reminded him of his sister.
No, Butter. Butter's his niece.
Oh, I thought she said
that
I
Butter
remind
is
you
the
of
one that
BB, the
keeps the
sister.
kids. She's the one that he talks about all the time. She keeps the kids for Joel, and she reminds him a lot of Butter. And I was like, that's not a compliment. That's friend zoned.
Yeah, yeah.
In my humble opinion.
In your humble opinion. Although, what did you think about the sister said?
I'm territorial.
And she said, "So am I." I thought, okay, all right, I'm gonna let y'all have that one. But then the sister came back, Auntie, help me with this phrase, because the sister said, "I think she likes you a little too much." What does that mean?
Already sees herself in a position that she has not been offered.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Already sees herself in a position that she has not been offered.
Yeah, I think the sister may have been, even though Vernisha was gone she wasn't on the set, as we can tell when the sister said that. I think I've been a little telling by making that comment, like, listen, my brother ain't really feeling you. And you like him more than he likes you. That's what I think she was saying. And given the time span, you've given a whole lot, and he's not really feeling you the same way that you're feeling him. That's what I kind of thought. And I've been a big fan of theirs.
Me too.
But there's something that's but there was something in that moment that said to me when that sister spoke, because like I said, I'm really into family and their dynamics. It seemed like the sister may have been saying, too quick. You like too hard, too quick, or he doesn't like you the way that you like him.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it's obvious, though.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm. And
because when you
please go ahead.
Wifey, when you start already seeing yourself as wifey, as we've heard her, discuss, I can see this being a long time. I can see us being together. I can see us being married. I can see this. I can see that. You have to be offered the position in order to accept. And so if somebody is playing wifey and this man he's not playing husband, then you like him way more. But I think that happens very often in relationships with people who are disillusioned about what's really happening.
Okay.
Because I believe that's where she is with him. I listen to words, and even when he's always saying, if I have to make a choice, since I have to make a choice, then I'm gonna choose you. He's making a choice because he's playing a game. But if in real life, would he be making these decisions? One of the things that bothered me about all of the couples was they act like it was their fucking idea to invite the families. This wasn't your idea. Tommy told you had to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, meeting the family is really serious. It's really, that means you in the serious. No, that means you in a game show, bitch. And Tommy said that your next assignment is for you to meet the family. Where the hell? Okay, go ahead, Bishop.
No, I'm with you. I have to appreciate. I think I did like the fact that the niece and the sister sort of balanced each other's comments out a little bit, because the niece said, "Yeah, so he's Google eyes over her," but remember, he said that she was kind of like the same way that his ex-wife, his deceased wife, was, Courtney. So I like that the niece brought that little bit of balance back in, but I still, they're tight knit points for me just sort of dwindled a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Made another note on the next family meeting was with Jason's mom, Monica. And then, of course, at the same time, we saw AJ's mom. But in terms of Jason's mom, Monica, she said, let's talk about relationships. She went right for it. Let's talk
No,
about
she said, let's talk about finances.
Finance. She said, let's talk about finances. She said, because relationships have been torn apart because of finance.
But why did she ask that? Who got the financial problems?
I don't know. Maybe that had been a part of her experience somewhere. But I gotta say, I love Liz's answer. God knows I did. Liz said, I'm not a stranger to prosperity or struggle. She said, I had the chance to go to private colleges, but I also know what it's like to boil water just to be able to take a hot bath. And I know you're thinking the violin, the music, and all that stuff is playing. I just kind of say, I like the answer, Auntie. I just like her answer. And especially, if it were authentic and genuine, organic and real and all that kind of stuff, and honest and candid. And I liked all of that. I really did. So, but you got to help me out with this one when she said, do you know how to lead a man
without letting him know that he's being led?
Take it. Talk to me about that. Because what does Liz do for a living? What is her profession? Is she an airline
producer? She's a producer.
Okay. She's a producer. Jason is a teacher. Jason might not make that much money. So she might have been saying to Liz, how you gonna handle this if you end up being the breadwinner?
And how you gonna lead him to a better, I like the question that the mom asked. About how to lead a man without him knowing that he's being led. Because I think that a woman that is her job, right? Biblically, to push her man to the tree of life, to bring back that separation from purpose and from God that happened in the garden. Okay. I believe the Proverbs 31 woman is the one to boost her man's his reputation, to encourage him, to uplift him, to take care of the family and all of that kind of stuff. There's no way of leading a man without him knowing he's being led, in my opinion. Okay. Because if you are both biblically connected, then you know that that's her job. And so it would mean that Jason would have to have an open heart to allow himself to be led. Now, I've never been married, but I would hope that we would be able to pull from the scripture that, baby, this is my role. And so I think it would be deceitful, in my opinion, to lead him without him knowing that I'm your rib. I'm who God has put in your life. I'm that Proverbs 31 woman. I'm that woman of influence. And so is my husband. And it's my job to push you. Now, it ain't my job to drag you.
Okay. Right.
But it is my job to encourage you, to push you to the tree of life. So when the mother asked that, why I knew what her intention was, I liked Liz's answer when Liz said, I would believe that God would give me the ability to do that, but I would want to do it up front and not be sneaking. I don't ever want to be deceiving somebody about what my position and my role is. So what do you think, Bishop?
I may be off again. Do you think the mother got Liz and Kyra mixed up? Do you think Jason had talked to the mother? Auntie, wait a minute. Don't you leave me on the screen by myself. Come back. No, Auntie. I'm going to wait till you come back. Because I need to know this. Auntie, come on back. Do you think Jason had talked to his mother? The same way I asked, do you think that Kyra had talked to her friend about AJ and Jason, and the friend probably got it mixed up? Do you think that perhaps Jason talked to his mother about Kyra and Liz, because a few episodes ago, Kyra was the one that Jason had a question about finances. So I'm wondering if they tell him the family stuff and the family is not able to decipher all this stuff that's going on. Something is going on here.
The shade, Bishop. The shade.
I just need to know.
I absolutely thought she was talking to Kyra.
Because when she asked about finances,
this is so profound that you pulled that out, because I'm telling you, I just, since I had dragged Liz so bad, I was trying to be gentle and not drag Liz again. But Jason don't give a damn about Liz. She was default. They're both defaults to one another.
Yeah. And they as cast members may have only a few people, select people that they can tell, and maybe they told those respective people in their family, and now the mother's here, and the mother's just all confused.
Because you could tell by her wig that she won't really there. I said bless her, because I know sometimes I've had bad wig days, and I know how it is to not only have a bad hair day, but have a bad wig day as well. And so when I saw the mother's wig and I saw that she looked like she was coming from a missionaries or usher board meeting, I just was like, the mother doesn't know who the hell's at this table. He said, Mama, let me get that chair for you. Yeah, baby. So let's talk finances, Kyra. Because Jason came home and told me that, your finances was jacked up from the floor up.
And the whole time she's talking to Liz. And then at the end, she's going to say, yep, you have my blessings. If that ain't the whole story of Jacob and Esau, you done gave the blessing to the wrong person.
The wrong.
But I'm going to go. AJ and his mom, blessings to the wrong person.
But the sad part about it is that Liz looks so weak in all this.
Did you think she looked weak?
I thought she looked undesirable. And I think she continues to look that way. And I think that she is a phenomenal woman. And like I said, I drag her because, number one, I think she's acting, right?
Okay.
Just because of her profession. And number two, I think she's hurting, because I don't think she ever gave herself real closure with what happened with her and homeboy.
David.
And in order to make it to the end, she had to default to this guy who, in my opinion, only saw her in a sexual way. There may have been some dates and some things that have gone on, but as far as what we have been seeing from production, I don't think it's shown Liz in a great light.
Wow.
I think that it has shown Liz, and if it was me, I'm just saying, if it was me on the show, and I was going back and looking at it, it would look like, I'm just so happy. I'm clapping like a seal every time he gives me something. I'm over the top, thankful and happy, and like I'm not used to getting. Every time he shows up, I'm her sideways smile, and he got a sideways smile too. So maybe you're two wrongs to make that right. But I just, when I look at her, I'm just like, girl, you just coming off as desperate. You're coming off as extremely needy. You're coming off as if you are not used to having anything or anyone in your life. Like you've never received one rose, let alone 12, a dozen. I just think that it just, I'm sitting up here begging with the mother. I'm trying to, be this spiritual, religious person. I'm just not being true to who I really am. And you're not perfect, Liz, and so he's not evil. You're not looking at flags with Kyra. Instead, you in competition with Kyra about this mofo. You're not realizing that he's not telling the truth, that he's being one person with her and another person with you. And at the end of the day, you're.
Woo. And you said I was reading? And you got mad about this thing.
I think she's coming off looking so desperate, Bishop. So desperate.
Okay.
That she doesn't see that this man is a fake and a phony, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think he's always been in competition with Kyra. And I think even the mother proved that she's in competition with Kyra.
Yeah. I see some, as much as I like Jason and Liz, I see some awkwardness. I see some kind of mixed matching going on. I still, I think she's beautiful. I do, but
Bishop, can I just say this?
Yes.
That color purple bull she pulled at the end. That
About Mama.
Mama.
I know. Yeah.
That was so cringy.
Yeah.
I was kind of mad, Mom.
Yeah.
Who the fuck told her that was a good idea? You're a woman of grace. You talk about the power of God. But you sitting up there, I got a man, like you some slave. Bishop, I can't do it with Liz. I think she coming off looking so ignorant and desperate.
Do you think production did that?
Yes. I think that she's an actress.
Yeah. They're making them do some crazy things if that's the case.
But
yeah.
Bishop, with her, the person that she wants us to believe that she is.
Yeah.
If she was really that person, she would have never let anybody convince her to do that. How degrading is that? I's married now. I's got a man now, Mama. Oh, Mama, I got a man. I'm bringing him home, Mama. Oh, Mama. Oh, God, Mama, he gave me a white rose. And
You're wrong.
Like I said, his mouth going to the left, hers going to the right. Maybe those two wrongs will make it right. And it'd just be a whole mouth that's completed. But Bishop, I can't with her with this ignorant stuff that she's doing. This woman of desperation. God is a God who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we dare ask or believe. God is the God who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we dare ask or believe. He is not a God that I felt like God had forgotten me. If you don't sit your color purple ass down somewhere, girl.
Maybe it was acting going wrong.
But why act like that? Why embarrass the God that we serve?
I don't know.
God is a God of first, second, third, of 152 billion chances. And what he has for you is for you.
Yeah.
And he's not a God that has forgotten any of us. He's our friend. And so for you to get on there and say, I prayed my prayer. I led my petition on the floor, on the altar, the threshing floor. I did my vision boards. I did everything. I told God, oh my,
Yes.
my dreams. I put all my petitions up to God because you know He cared for me.
You're a mess.
And after I did that, I really see that God ain't forgotten me. Come on, Bishop. If that ain't some cotton freaking
Yeah.
color purple slave mentality,
I think they just magnetized to each other because they both lost. Jason, Jason lost.
you
She
did.
lost. She lost David. He lost Kyra. They just they're a consenting couple. They're a consenting couple. I think that's
Look
what's
what
going
she
on.
said. Look what she said. She said that country bumpkin church backwoods slave color purple is just ridiculous. Liz is phony, phony, phony. Lana, where's the lie? You ain't never lied, Lana. That's exactly. Thank you, Boo. You wrapped that up for me. Thank you.
I can't say anything after that. That's hilarious. I get it. I get it. Well, okay. So speaking of moms showing up, let's go to AJ's mother. Let's go over to AJ's mother when she met your girl Kyra. First thing he said something I didn't like though. He said, you know, well, Mom, she and I butt heads the way that you and I do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that.
I didn't like it, but I understood why he was so attracted to Kyra because even everybody indicated how much they argued. And
Uh-huh.
so he was looking for another mama.
Let me tell you something. That mother came out of the gate and she was not playing. She said, well, listen, you know, what do I need to know about you? Let me just start there. What I need to know about you. And then she's like, you know, oh, I want grandchildren, all of that. But she said, she called
Ashlyn,
Ashlyn. She said, one of the things that you need to know about my son, Ashlyn, he's done this, that, and the other. So he would engage and then
and
he would disengage. Are you one of those
she
things?
pronounced it correctly.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She let the cat out of the bag. She said, well, listen, since you're talking about relationship with my son, let me just show you what authenticity looks like. Let me tell you about my son. He engages, re-engages, disengages, all that kind of stuff. Are you one of the things that he's going to engage and then disengage? I know AJ wasn't expecting that.
Mm-mm.
And neither was Kyra.
Mm-mm.
Kyra wasn't expecting. She's like, we got off to a rough start and all of that. And the mother was a listener. She listened. So she
With
said,
her
oh, a
Patty
rough
Bell wig on.
What you say? You're not right. You're just not right.
The mama had that Patty LaBelle wig on.
But she was serious. She
She was
said, so I'm
serious
listening to
now.
what you said. You said you got a rough start. Tell me about the rough start.
What
And then when
wig?
she she was honest. She was almost saying, listen, I don't think you need to date him because for one, he engages, disengages, all that kind of stuff. Are you going
Always
to be
got
one
a
of his
project.
projects? You're going to be one of his projects. Then she also said, oh, he didn't pay for dinner. She said, well, you know, you get 5 to 10 years for doing that. She said, because she was old fashioned.
Yeah.
She didn't approve of how he dated and
And then
how
he
he
would sit
treated.
up here and say, Mom, why are you looking at me like that? Because the mother was disgusted
She was disgusted.
and embarrassed by him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The mother did not come to play games. And you know what? She was going to make her son accountable and not play games in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think it really was a validation, unfortunately, that Kyra needed.
Mm-hmm. Because she was probably saying to Kyra, okay, so what kind of woman are you to date a man who's like that? What does that say
Below the
about
bar.
you?
Below the bar.
Yeah, she wasn't playing. She
Didn't play
revealed,
at all.
yeah, she revealed a whole lot.
But you know what? That's good that the mother is a woman's woman.
Yeah.
Because you have some mothers, they will defend their son all the way to the electric chair.
Mm-hmm.
You know they're wrong. You know they're not the best person, but you will defend them and defend them and defend them and enable and enable. And AJ's mother or Ashlyn's mother was not willing to do that.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. I think she was also a son's mother from the perspective of I'm going to hold my boys accountable.
Yes, okay,
And
that's a good perspective, Bishop.
I'm going to hold my boys accountable. And I give you that perspective from my mother because my mother has always said, I'm not taking sides. Just because you bring somebody in this house to meet me, I'm not going to take sides. I raised you to be responsible, to be respectful, to be
Mm-hmm.
accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone asks me my opinion, I'm going to tell them this is how I raised my sons. And if you guys don't meet my standards, I'm not going to sit here and pretend in front of anybody like you're a perfect painting when you're not.
Yes, Bishop. That's a
Mm-hmm.
good perspective. That's
Yeah.
a good perspective. But your mama had all them boys,
Yeah.
and when you have boys, you don't make excuses for them. I
She
know
didn't
my
play
mom
with us.
didn't either
Yeah. Yeah.
for any of her kids, girl or boy.
Right. Right. Any of you all. And then let's go to see who chooses whom. Because that was the end of meeting family. Take it, Auntie. Please
I
tell me about
know it took you some. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. We gotta open up. I know it took me some time to be the man that you wanted me to be. Oh, now I'm ready. I'm ready to love. Go ahead, Bishop.
it. Well, we saw the couples, didn't we?
Why
As we
did wait a minute? Why did Joel have that? I heard somebody else say it on another channel, that Easter bunny outfit on. He looked like he was in a Tom Thumb wedding.
and you know what? When I saw that,
And then Vernisha looked like she was volunteering to be a Playboy bunny. But them boots that she had on ain't match jack that she nothing. And I just was like, what season are we in? I couldn't make it out with the outfits on. But anyway, go ahead, Bishop. I know it took me some time to be the woman you wanted me to be. Oh, now I'm ready. I'm ready to love.
you cutting up today, but that's all right. But I'm with you. Joel showed up in the pink and white. She showed up. Vernisha showed up with the high thigh. And bottom line, but they chose each other. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking maybe Joel had just come back from Bermuda. Because in Bermuda, they wear jackets and shorts. But Joel, when they wear jackets and shorts in Bermudas, they have on dress shoes and long socks. In Bermuda, you down in Houston.
Yeah, he just. But even when he went to go and meet the parents, and he had that tight vest on that was just too small. But they chose each other. He wanted to know. He said that he chose her, and he wanted to know
Why
why
she
she
chose him.
chose him. Isn't that obvious?
I mean, she finally told him because she got to know his heart. But I was thinking, no, you've been with each other all this long. Just say, for the sake of production, I've chosen you. Do you choose me?
Yes.
And be done. Let us off the hook. Please, Joel.
Please.
Let us off the hook.
Please. Next.
Well, let's deal with. I'm gonna jump to Liz and Jason for just a moment. Awkward again.
So awkward.
Now you got a whole dozen of roses this time, Jason. A whole dozen. And before you tell all this, you say, before I do this, I want to kiss you. And Y'all just go ahead. Tell me that you chose each other. And then he said Liz, 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 Liz. And she said Jason, 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 Jason. And I said
Jason.
sickening,
And,
sickening, sickening.
the eyelashes be like barely hanging on. Jason, 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 Jason. I said, God, she just looks so desperate.
Yeah. That was a script if I ever heard. Jason, 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 Jason. I said, please, 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 please. That's what I said. But anyway, they ultimately chose each other. And then KG and Amber. Auntie, what do you think about how Amber looked? Wait a minute, Auntie. Speaking of KG, Chris, he had on the black and white and then the black sitting on the rock, waiting for the goddess again. If I hit goddess again, Chris, I'm just going to throw up.
But that's what she is to him because he's taken such a backseat to this relationship in such a passive position. That's what she is. And when she walked up there, I just was like, what does she got on? Like, that is so satiny. Like, I didn't even know people wore satin like that anymore. When did we start wearing satin like that again? But anyway, I digress. One of the things that Amber uses, I believe, is her eyes and her beauty. I think Amber is extremely pretty.
She's pretty.
Very, very pretty. I love the faux locks in her hair. I really do. But even when she walked up there, there's no femininity. She looks hot on the outside because that's how, what is it? What they say, the Black Widow spider. That's how they get them. They look real. Not her. I'm talking about I'm just using like an example.
Allegedly.
But when she walked up, she was looking like she was walking up on a prey.
And he looked like a prey.
He is prey.
Or he looked like a prey yin mantis.
Yeah.
No. That's wrong. I shouldn't have said that.
No. I'm the one that needed a glass of tea at this point. Because I'm going to tell you, Bishop, it's so sad to watch this. And then they lie because, first of all, when they met and they were doing yoga together, he indicated that he did not need to be married. So did she. But now all of a sudden he's got to be married to have sex. Then they both talked about they wanted 5 to 100 children. Now all of a sudden she might want one. He talks about the need of not having to even be married. But now marriage is part of a stipulation to get the dick. I mean, I'm sorry. The deed. So which one is it? Does it come with a wedding band on the tip of it? I mean, they are so fake that they don't even hear themselves with all of these contradictions. It's too many contradictions. I think they look good together. I'm happy that they won the competition and made it to the end because you always want to see people win. But look at me, Bishop. But even on the advertisement, Ron said I went on a bunch of dates with Amber.
Yeah.
A bunch. Well, I mean, quite a few. Maybe bunch isn't the word to use. Can we say a plethora? Who didn't she date and kiss? She was with Joe. And how many other men has she been with?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I didn't like about the Jason Liz thing is when Jason said, it amazes me how the other men passed up on this woman, on Liz.
Yeah.
I did not like that because it's not about the other men. You're at the end of the competition. You was passing up on Liz too for Kyra.
Yeah.
So how dare you now, because you with her as a default, say you can't believe that the other men was doing the same exact thing that you was doing? Boy, bye. I'm gonna tell you. Go ahead, Bishop.
No, I'm with you because I think
calm down.
I think what we've ended up with are couples who are there by default and they don't want to lose. And because they ended up there by default and they don't want to lose, we just see awkward pairing. This is just awkward pairing and just nothing really authentic at all. And they may look good together, but no. Go ahead, Auntie.
No, I just wanted to thank them. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much, Libra DC, for the $5 super chat. Fake, fake, fake. They are all fake, Auntie. Absolutely, boo.
I agree. I agree. And so now nobody is authentic. They're together because they want to save face, in my humble opinion. They want to save face and look like they've won. So what we ended up seeing was now when AJ and Kyra were together, she walks in on him playing the piano. She has a conversation. He has chosen her. And ultimately, she didn't choose him. She did not choose him. And for as much as I, Auntie, initially wanted to get upset with her, what I appreciated was that she was honest with herself.
Yes.
And not only was she honest with herself, but I think she also listened to the advice that his mother was giving her. And so I wasn't upset with her. I appreciated the fact that she made a decision, in that moment. This is what's best for me. And as much as I wanted to berate her earlier about, this is a show and you talking about you got to wait until the end of the show, she was honest. The whole show she was on. I don't mean the whole show she was honest, but I mean, ultimately, she made an honest decision and she didn't say, you know what, I'm just going to make a decision now just so I can be in the final finale. I'm just going to show up. She's like, no, I gotta be honest with myself in this moment. I think we like each other, but I don't think we know each other well enough, she said, to be committed to each other. So I just appreciated her for that.
I think that the thing about it is that as a woman that I find dishonorable is the seduction and the manipulation. Yet, while I agree that Kyra has a right to make a decision whether or not to be with him or not, you don't have a right to continue with the manipulation and the way that you're dressing and the seduction and coming in and making it and saying, I will read for love. You can break up with somebody or let them know that you're not interested without breaking their heart or without making them look like a fool. Why would you say I will read for love when you know that you don't love them? And you have no intention on doing that. That's manipulation to me. That, and then, she said at the pool, and she's proven that this is the kind of woman she is, attorney or not. I know that men are visual. So I'm going to come in here and visually let him see what he's not getting. I'm going to visually come in and make him believe, manipulate him and make him believe that it's one way. And then I'm going to snatch the rug up from underneath him. That's what that you can't respect that kind of behavior, Bishop.
Yeah.
He does have a right to make a decision not to choose AJ, but you don't hurt someone in the process. And that is one of the things that and when she was trying to make them tears come, I don't want you to think that I'm not taking you seriously or that I'm playing with you. You don't have to say that if you know that ain't what it is.
Yeah.
Very
yeah.
It's not how you treat somebody, Bishop.
Yeah.
And then she says,
I
what was
agree.
the name of the song? I chose you. First of all, the song, he missed a couple of keys on the piano when he was playing it. And I was like, AJ, I know your mother said that you were self-taught. You may have wanted to give those chords to someone else, let them play the piano for you because you missed a couple of chords on that. I think it probably would have been a nice song had you played it correctly, right? Being a musician myself, I don't appreciate that. You're a producer and you claim that you're a musician, you need to have your shit together, at this time. But I do understand, as your mother said, you're self-taught. But in the future, um, when Kyra said, you asked me, you said I never played for you, just say, you know what? Unfortunately, I'm a little nervous. I just threw this together last night, and I'm gonna have somebody else to just go ahead on the play this for me. Um, I thought that Kyra, and I know people are going to be mad with me about this. I did not believe that because he saved her, that Kyra owed him anything. I do
Can
believe Kyra should have gone home, but I don't believe that because he saved her, she owed him. But go ahead, Bishop.
No. I'm with you. I don't think anybody owed anything in the nature of the game. But I think if she were going to be really true to herself, I think that perhaps in that moment she could have said, "Wait a minute. So you were going to eliminate me, but now you changed your mind." At that moment where he said, "I changed my mind," she probably should have said, "No, don't change
Don't
your
change
mind.
your mind.
I'm
Yeah,
good. Don't
I'm
change
good.
your mind. I'm good." That's the one other place where I think she could have inserted and asserted herself just a little bit more.
I agree, Bishop. I totally
So
agree. And I believe that, she got very her ego was overinflated. Um I believe that they pumped her up to believe that she was more. I think that she thought she had more time to play with Jason. And when Jason did the gotcha moment and went to another woman, it blew her whole game up, her whole spot. And I don't think she was ever able to come back. And the reason why I say that is because right before, when all the couples came together on the last episode, and they were on the rooftop, and Tommy was coming in to tell them that they had to meet the families, and that it was supposed to be three couples and not four. She said, watching Liz and Jason bothers me because he got under my skin. She says something to that effect. She was playing games and the game played her.
that's right.
Because
You
she said
said
he
it.
got under my skin.
Yeah.
And even when she was talking to Liz and she was laughing at Liz and Liz thought it was disrespectful, she said, I had feelings for him and they were real.
Mm.
But you played yourself, Kyra, because if you want to love someone, they need to know that they are loved.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she would not make that commitment.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, because that is the vulnerability of it all. Because
Yeah,
when you love someone, you 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 put your vulnerabilities out
you
there,
got to. You got to take the risk.
and you got to
You
take
have
the
to
risk, you
take
got
the
to take the
risk.
chance,
Oh, I
and you
got
got to say,
chill
yeah,
bumps. Bishop. I got chill. I got
it,
chill bumps.
it's true, and
It's
that
so
is
true.
that is what growing to love is about. It's about taking the chance for me, putting my vulnerabilities out there,
Whew.
knowing that you can hurt me if you don't accept me, but I love you enough to expose that vulnerability. And that's what she didn't display. That's what she didn't exhibit. And I don't know that it would have made a difference with him, but that's what the process is all about, Kyra. So when you're talking about I've got to get to the end of the process, you don't get to love, you don't get all the way to love to determine that there is love. You have to go and grow through the process and say, this is what it looks like. This is what falling in love is about.
And what
It's
did you
about the
think
risk.
about
Yeah.
it? It is because there is great risk associated with it,
Mm-hmm.
even if you get married.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about AJ when AJ said all the things I sacrificed? I did not think that I was going to be here. Tell me, what do you think about that as a man, Bishop?
The same thing is true. AJ, you have to be ready for the rejection. You have to be ready for, I mean, I don't want to put it like a contract, but you've got to be ready for the rejection. Just because you put it out there that you love her and this is what you're willing to do, you can't expect her to reciprocate with the same answer. You've got to be open enough, objective enough, honest enough to hear her answer and take it for what it's worth. If there's no meeting of the mind, just be thankful that you found out now, and then you move on. And rather than saying, listen, I chose you. Now I want you to choose me, whether you really want me or not. I want you. We can work this. No. That's not what you do. And that's what. And I can say this. That's where I grew up in a very southern, very country kind of a mentality where, and we know it's true in our culture. Sometimes when a young boy would get a young girl pregnant, and the families would make them marry each other when they hadn't even experienced love. But it was just making them make it fit, make it work. And some it worked out and many times it didn't because they didn't grow to love. It was just, we've got to make this work for the sake of people telling us that we have to, and we don't get a chance to be honest with ourselves. No.
Which is where I think that Joel and Vernisha are. At least I think that's where Joel is. And so it's so incredible that you would wrap up with that, Bishop, because that really, to me, really captures what I think about Joel's relationship with Vernisha.
Yeah.
We got connected in the beginning. We never really connected with anyone else. We got pregnant in this relationship, even though, there's no physical baby. And everything, all the forces around us are pushing us to stay together.
Yeah.
Because everybody sees them already together. They had no other choice because Vernisha was so territorial. Because she was so territorial, everybody already saw him as property.
Mm-hmm.
All the forces on the outside, all the cast members, everybody was like, man, y'all act like y'all already married. But, ain't nobody, the only person that tried to look like they stepped over that, according to what we saw from production, was Amber.
Yes.
But other than that, nobody else even tried. But she, like a little dog that just came up there and pissed on him and, like on the fire hydrant and was like, you can't have him. He's already mine. That is what being territorial is. Marking your spot. That's so, thank you, Bishop. That's exactly how I've seen this relationship between Joel and Vernisha.
Yeah. Well, Auntie, so what I need to do, since we saw the couple leave, I guess I must feel some kind of way about them because AJ, this season didn't work out for you. But wait a minute, you were not alone. You were absolutely not alone. Kyra, didn't work out for you either. We're not putting you in the trash. We're just saying recycle.
Yeah, because Kyra said, I chose Kyra.
Chose Kyra.
I don't think she chose Kyra. She just was rejected by Jason.
Yeah. And this gets to, Auntie, something that I said in the beginning. My initial challenge, even with the show, was that the whole notion of ready to love, when you're competing and you're competing with each other, it doesn't create an atmosphere or an environment when you're really exposing yourself to vulnerability. You're exposing yourself now to competition and conquest and those types of things, other than the natural evolution of love, to where I can expose my vulnerabilities without thinking that you will betray them by going to someone who's competing with me. Yeah. I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, so next we have the finale. And it looks like it's going to be next week, and it's going to be 3 parts, right? We are going to be doing the finale live for live studio audience. So we've got to make a decision about which one we're going to go live on. As you know, I'm going to be gone, on vacation. Mm-hmm. So we've got to make a decision, and so that we can announce that to everybody, so that we can get our invited guest into the studio, coordinate all of that. So everybody will let you all know when we We'll be doing that. I'm excited about that. I don't know if we should just do all three of them together. I don't know, but we'll work that out because for some reason, I thought that the finale was going to be further along. I didn't know
Yeah.
this this was going to be the finale, and then we were going to go into this. I think it's going to be fire. Um, I think a lot of things are going to come out, Bishop, that folk ain't ready for.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
They
gonna see some fireworks.
I think we're going to see some fireworks. And the reason why I say that too is because the cast has been very outspoken on social media. They've been doing interviews with this guy called Little Black Book.
Okay.
I don't know why, but they've been doing interviews with this YouTuber now, Little Black Book. And I'm going to bite my tongue on that. Um, but the cast has been really outspoken and really coming out and talking um, very candidly about some things that have been going on. So I'm really interested in seeing that. You got any closing statements, Bishop?
I have none. I just need to do this. These were our predictions. You were thinking that Jason was going to end up with Kyra, but the other couples are there. I figured Jason was going to get with Liz, but
Look at you, Bishop.
but other than that, we were sort of spot on, except for our projections with Kyra and Liz. But
Yeah, but
otherwise,
you got that Kyra Liz. I didn't see him at that time with no cotton freaking
Liz
and I still don't see him with Liz.
and his mother doesn't either. I'm done. She still thinks it's Kyra.
She does indeed. I want to say thank you to everybody who's been out here. Bishop, we've been toggling between 400 to I don't know how many people out here today on this live with us. And we just so thank you for spending your day with us. We don't take that for granted. We appreciate everybody who's here. Thank you so much to everybody who is super chatted. I don't know how many I missed. And if I did miss you, please, please forgive me. As I just wasn't focused on the chat for a while. And I want to say a special thank you to my moderators who always keep the chat nice and safe so that everybody can feel free to oh, thank you, Crowning Express. You just remind me. Bishop, there's a new show called Put a Ring on It. I am going to be covering Put a Ring on It, but I want to know if you want to get on it. It's another show just like this, except for these couples are making a decision on whether or not they should get married or should not get married.
Oh Lord, that's about marriage.
They're not married.
Okay,
And
I have to take a let me take a look at it.
Okay, so thank you, Crowning Express. I'm glad. Thank you. That was the reminder that I needed. Thank you so much. So, Bishop, take a look at that. We'll be on episode 2. I think we missed.
Okay.
I wish you would let the audience us write in via live chat during the reunion show. Absolutely, absolutely, we can do that.
Yeah.
I don't think that Bishop has any objection, and I absolutely don't have an objection to that. So let me put that up here so there's something that I can remind myself. Okay, thank you, Jazzy Max. Anybody else? Oh.
Can't wait to see what's that.
Can't wait to see that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh. So we will be getting back with y'all. Again, thank you so much to my moderators who always make the chat nice and safe. We appreciate all of you all, and we love you. Be good, y'all. Stay safe. You want to say bye, Bishop?
No, just thank you all so much. I enjoy spending this time with you. Auntie, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bishop. Bye, y'all.